I actually wound up starting kind of closer to where I should be in the at the start of the week. And I would have been starting exactly at 7, but I did have a couple things come up. This was a very productive week for recording videos, but that's not going to be very relevant for, excuse me, it's not going to be all that relevant for the stream. It's going to be something that we get to see on the YouTube channel. I'm just building up, or not building up, trying to get Phantom Brigade open. So there has been a change to my broadcast software again. So some of you may recall this from Hollow Knight, but I was using, so when I started streaming, I was using the old, I think they called it the Windows version of OBS. Anyways, the first one. And after a period of time, the OBS team decided to make OBS Studio sort of the primary version. Let me just get through the disclaimers and comments to start. Welcome to Phantom Brigade. We're excited for you to experience Phantom Brigade and to have your help shaping its development during its early access period. During the course of development, some aspects of the game might feel rough, sparse, or buggy. Every month we'll release a major update, which will include bug fixes, new features, and quality of life improvements for players. We appreciate your patience and feedback throughout this process as we work to deliver the most important features and fixes. From the main menu, check out our early access roadmap to see what's coming next for Phantom Brigade. Reach out to us via the Brace Yourself Games Discord community or read the latest patch notes for the latest changes and known issues. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to making Phantom Brigade better and better with your help. Seizure Warning. A very small percentage of people may experience seizures when exposed to a seizure when exposed to certain visual images, including flashing lights or visual patterns. These seizures have a variety of symptoms, including lightheadedness, altered vision, eye or face twitching, jerking or shaking of arms and legs, disorientation, confusion, or momentary loss of awareness. Immediately stop playing and consult a doctor if you experience any of these symptoms. If you or any of your relatives have a history of seizures or epilepsy, it is recommended that you consult a doctor before playing. And I see Mad King Brutus in the chat. Excellent. Yeah, and I mean, I've been really enthusiastic about your sort of after action reports. For those of you who don't know, Mad King Brutus was one of the people who picked up the game pretty early on after we started streaming this, and I've been delighted to see how much he's been enjoying it. Now, I do want to starting my games. I do want to start the games a little bit earlier, so I'm going to try and keep it under 10 minutes, but I did want to talk about the broadcasting stuff because this is actually something that will be helpful to get some feedback on. And then on top of that, I do want to take a minute to get the sort of the press key disclosure as well as the roadmap out of the way. So I am going to start trying to be a bit more prompt in starting, so get the preamble either out of the way or eliminate it. But this time around, I do want to make sure I have a couple of details. So I was talking about OBS. OBS Studio is now sort of the main version of OBS. I think it's still possible to download the old OBS version, but certainly it's not getting updated. You're probably, if you have a game that uses Vulkan, you won't even be able to stream it. In response to Anthem, I actually wound up getting Streamlabs OBS because I was sort of told that it would have a number of improvements so far as how it would free up resources. And I think probably for a while I was thinking that Streamlabs OBS was much better than it was because I was using the NVEC encoding where I was doing software on OBS Studio. The fact of the matter is that it was creating a bunch of sort of judders and just other imperfections in terms of the video quality. And I'd been correctly attributing some of that to having things like Chrome open, but it seems like the majority of problems I was running into... Oh, you know what? I think the game might be a little quiet. Let me know if this is too loud, but I think this will probably be a little bit better for the game to voice volume. Of course, the music goes quiet right around the time that I'm ready to test that. But yeah, so I've switched back to OBS Studio. I needed a little bit of work to get that set up properly. just from the old settings, but I think things should be working. And I don't know if you're noticing any issues in terms of the image quality, or just generally, you know, if you're noticing some kind of a change in terms of the quality of the stream, I'd love to hear it. This also applies to VODs on YouTube and such. But my hope is that I'll be able to do more games at 60 frames per second. I'm not going to go up to 1440 horizontal lines unless it's on YouTube, because there's a cap to the bit rate that you can use on on Twitch. So I think the limit will allow me to do a reasonably comfortable 1080-60. Anything else, and I think we're compromising the quality of the stream. Yeah, before we jump into the game, I do want to stress that I was given a press key for this, or promotional key, whatever you want to call it, from Brace Yourself Games. I'm very grateful for that, because it's obviously been a little bit of a harder time for the stream lately in terms of just kind of keeping the viewership up. I had a few theories for that, but I also think some of this might just be some changes in the Twitch algorithm that I wound up on the wrong side of. But I always want to try and do my best in terms of showing this game to a potential audience and doing right by it. I like it. Obviously, I like it when developers sort of take a chance on somebody who would be qualified as a smaller creator like myself. I don't really think I count as a creator, but a smaller channel like myself. And it has been really rewarding to get a lot of people sort of letting me know that they've either found out about this game or they bought this game because of the stream. Because in the end, I think Brace Yourself Games is a really interesting company. It's a Canadian company. I miss Vancouver terribly. They're a Vancouver company. But I think they're doing some really interesting stuff, and it's nice to see a game like this get support from its potential audience. But of course, on the other hand, you know, I want to see this game succeed, and I have been given a promotional key for it. So, you know, my enthusiasm for this game is genuine, but it probably does need to be said. That you know, you should keep the fact that I was given a key from the developer in the back of your mind if you're making purchase decisions. Night Valley says, you miss Vancouver, you miss cold and traffic? Well, I walk everywhere, and it's even colder in Ottawa, so yeah, I definitely miss it compared to my other alternatives. It's great to see you again, Night Valley. I do want to take, so this is going to wind up being closer to 10 minutes for starting, but again, I did want to talk a little bit about visual quality. I'm not going to put that in every stream. We've been enjoying the quality of life update, so named Mechan at Work. And this month we're going to be looking forward to a campaign update, which is listed as diverse combat scenarios, new narrative event, and new combat environment. I'm personally looking forward to the Arsenal update. It did mention artillery in the original roadmap, and that might have either been bumped to future features or just gotten rid of entirely. But even Melee 2.0 should be fun. This is definitely... February's the update I'm really looking forward to, but in the end, like everything about this game I've thoroughly enjoyed, so I don't know. I just really want more Phantom Brigade. I'll be happy no matter what it is. Well, I can rant while we're punching targets too, Night Alien. I also actually felt really bad that I've corrected this since then, but I actually attributed. I think it's because of where. I think it's because of the. I always thought I could push the left mouse button to move the screen. Where's my base? How did we wind up here? Oh, right. I remember why. Because we were going to claim the town and the black market. What was I going to say? I think it was because Industries of Titan uses Unreal, but for some reason I was under the impression that this was an Unreal Engine game as well. And then I saw in the credits a thank you to the Dots team. Dots is the data-oriented technology stack, I think is what that stands for Unity. And I know there is a perception that Unity is like the also-ran engine, but it is actually, there have been a number of very impressive looking and very fun games to come out of that. So it's, I don't know. I guess I always like pointing out when something cool has been made like in the end, it's the developers behind it, right? A good developer presumably is going to make a good game using whatever technology they think is appropriate. But I did want to highlight it, one, because it was an error that I made before, and number two, I'm not the greatest computer guy, but it seems like some of the dot stuff is really similar to what I did for it was like kind of an introductory course in the computer science department. I got to TA it after taking it. And it was very conceptual, but it's kind of a lot of stuff that Unity kind of highlights as being an advantage for the dot system is stuff that's actually kind of familiar from that course. So I've kind of wanted, the big problem is that I don't make games, so there aren't a lot of applications for it. And the one thing I've noticed is that, for me at least, the one thing I've noticed is that there's not a lot of stuff off the shelf to sort of let you... So like if you want to mess around with Unity, you can kind of sit down and make some primitives and be able to bounce, just bounce around a few ideas even if you don't intend to make a game. But for dots, it kind of feels like it's a number of different pieces that they're going to be putting together later. And so I haven't actually quite been able to get a handle on exactly how all of it works. Like, I understand some of the concepts, but I haven't been able to like actually open a Unity session and say, okay, here's a quick little demo that I did, and this was a good demonstration of how it works. Mind you, I haven't tried very hard, so, but it's neat. And I don't know, I just like seeing stuff that I remember from other sources in the games that I play. But let's go punch some mechs. I do think I'm eventually going to mess around a little bit with my with the mech designs. Right now we've been sort of building them for each encounter that we run into. And I'll probably still wind up doing it that way, but I think probably I want to go back and do some more fundamental changes. Like, so for instance, I've been relying a little bit on having a lot of armor. And what would maybe be nice is for me to start focusing a bit more on barriers and getting a better track on how much damage some enemies are going to be able to do to me on a given turn and how much I'm going to be able to regenerate. So that way I can avoid spending the time on repairs. But for now, we'll settle for a standard assault on Bomansvik. Okay. And they're a little tired, but they're not appallingly tired. I'm going to take a minute here and do some potential adjustments. So Hermes could potentially get an Asgard, but why would I? Pretty sure we're not going to wind up with another pistol, so it's a shield that was there, right item. So unless we come up with a better assault rifle, which I think we actually just equipped this guy with already. What about a new arm? So he's sitting on the Nox Heavy. And yeah, unless I want to get rid of all my heat dissipation, that's not going to work. And oh yes, this guy's got the weird legs. Yeah, so nothing really to write home about there. I think it's going to be the same story with the lance, however, there might be something with the shield, so we'll take a look for it. Yeah, we're not going to replace that Nox Heavy. It's a pretty good shield that we've got, so yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the stance is not going to cover it. I don't think I'm ready to put this. I'm not ready to turn this unit into a melee unit yet. We actually gave it some extra weight so that we can start pushing people around. The Vidar is kind of this is definitely a really good arm to have for this unit. So yeah, the only thing that this would do would help me a bit with the mass, but the heat dissipation's really good on this one. And then I think I had designs on giving this guy some heavier legs, but I couldn't quite make it work. These Noxes are pretty good. So Fuchsia, the Geoscape has some resemblance to XCOM 2 for sure. And it's hard not to talk about a tactical game without referring to the wonderful adaptation of the original XCOM games by Firaxis. But I actually argue that this game probably has a little bit more in common with Into the Breach, just given the fact that you have perfect knowledge of what's going to be happening and you build your turn around that. And I'd actually argue that this game is a bit more deterministic, because in Enter the Breach you have sort of some random elements in terms of whether or not the units will destroy the building, or the enemy units will destroy a given building. Whereas this game, so far as I can tell, maybe somebody can correct me on that, but I don't think there are random elements in it. I think even when it comes to the firing, it's going to be, there's going to be some different factors that affect it. But yeah, I'll the one thing I will say that probably is a good comparison on the XCOM front is that, you know how in XCOM you have like the whole thing that made both XCOM Enemy Unknown, Enemy Within, and of course XCOM 2 so great is that you have those occasional moments where it'll go to sort of that cinematic look. And actually there's a great GDC talk where they talk about when first making sort of the modern XCOM, the prototype that they made was actually a movie. And it was like, it's, you know, you're going to have to fix the camera. It's got to look like a game that you could actually play, but we're going to capture the experience of what it's like to play this game in a little movie. The sort of the cinematic approach to the game, like where you have these big like those big plays, and you see, you know, you kind of know when the camera angle changes and you see one of your guys firing at the alien. It's probably not because they missed. It's because you're about to see that alien get splattered against the wall. There's an element to that in here. You're definitely in control, but this is a very Hollywood mech game, and I mean that in the best possible way. All right, so we can get better range at the cost of slightly less damage. I think we actually already looked at this, and I decided to keep the old part for now. I may change that later, though. I've successfully interested you. Tell it. All right, here's the best way that you can. This is the best way you can give me a raise. It is currently in early access on the Epic Store. I know everybody. Every time I mention the Epic Store, that always leads to hurt feelings. So, for those of you who are not interested in early access or not interested in Sierra on the field, what's taking so long here? Surround them and finish them off. So 5 enemies. Obviously, if you do not like the Epic Store or you do not like early access, there's no date for this to get on Steam or to come out of early access. But for those of you who do want to play it right away and give that feedback, first of all, I hope you join the Brace Yourself Games Discord no matter what, because that is a really good Discord. But on top of that, I do actually have an affiliate link for this game. So everybody knows I was given a promotional key for this game, and I have the affiliate link. So I do have a financial interest for all of you to buy as many copies of this game as possible. But seeing as we're talking about me getting a raise, I will now destroy all of your good feelings about this game by completely ruining this mission. Okay, so let's see what we're up against first. So we've got cannon. Okay, so the 4 tanks are long-range units. What I may want to do with that in mind, I might actually want to bring some of the units up along the side here, because that's going to give us a lot of taller houses. If you take a look at what happens if we move our units up like this, we've got sort of the park, which isn't going to provide a lot of cover. And then, of course, the streets are going along this way. So that's going to give another nice long column where the enemy has an advantage. Now, the one place where that isn't true is for my marksmen, who obviously will benefit from the very same things that make this troublesome for the... Nope, I don't quite have... Yeah. My range isn't that good with the marksman. Sorry, just taking some time to get in position. Yeah, so the idea here is that in the next turn, my marksman's going to be able to open fire. Actually, this is a... Oh, paramedium handguns. This guy's going John Woo on us. That does look kind of cool, actually. No fog of war, you see, is the game telling you where the enemies are going to move to? Yep. So the premise behind this game is that you have got an AI in your systems that will show you 5 seconds into the future. So in this case here, the red lines are indicating where the enemies are moving. If you want, you can actually see equivalent timelines to there. So we can see here that this enemy mech is going to be moving constantly throughout the next 5 seconds, and they're going to be firing with their primary weapon, and we can sort of trace. It doesn't say in the timeline what unit they're attacking, so far as I can tell anyway, but what we can do is we can just follow the line, and we can see that they are, I think they're attacking the my melee unit. It's a little hard to tell just because it happens to be that there's another unit behind them. So, and there's a building in the way, so we've got a little bit covered. But yeah, now actually, what I also say too, it's technically, I should maybe be a little bit more careful and say that it's technically not perfect knowledge, because in theory, if I just ran a character through here and like banged into all of these tanks, then they'd kind of go flying off in response to me kind of kicking them. But that's obviously, that's a situation that I've created, so it's not quite as I don't know, it's not quite as dramatic as all that. Now, one of the things I'm going to try and solve here, so this is a melee unit. They're going to be useless at sort of at range. So one of the things I'm going to try and do in this mission is take advantage of a lot of this cover, particularly for this unit, which is obviously going to be trying to get in nice and close. One nice thing about the cannon, if you take a look at its description in the bottom right, its optimal range is 48 to 99. So as soon as I can get into close range, these tanks are really not going to be able to do that much. But it comes at a cost. I am actually going to have to try and close the distance. Now there is heat in the games. That's going to give you some limitations in terms of what you can accomplish on your turn. And here I'm using up my heat basically to try and basically just try and cover as much ground as I can in as short a period of time as I can. Okay, I'm a little wary about that last dash. I wonder if I can get a third one in. Yep, we're running a little hot, but not catastrophically so. Okay, so when we take a look at the movement for this unit, so we walk to kind of get in position, then we use dash, dash, dash. So one, they're moving really rapidly. So presumably, if there's an attack, they're also it's not going to be quite as devastating because they're moving a whole lot. But number two, they're behind fairly tall houses throughout. So if you take a look at these red lines as they sort of follow, I'm always behind some kind of cover throughout. And then we end the turn here. So it is possible that one of these tanks, like if I was this tank, I'd probably end my turn by pointing my gun at this melee unit. And I have created a little bit of a problem for myself in the sense that I am generating quite a bit of heat. So I'm going to have only half of my available heat to be able to do something about an enemy. But I do also have the option of just kind of walking around these buildings, and I don't think the tanks are going to be able to do that much, in addition to the fact that I am starting to close in, and as a result, their weapons are not going to be as effective. So this is all about positioning for this melee unit. There's not that much more to do. Same story with the marksman. Marksman can do things at long range, but not, like, they're not a miracle worker. Now, the only last thing that I'm not crazy about is the fact that my two sort of playmakers in this case are also sort of at risk. And I'm trying to decide how I want to handle this. So let's take Foxtrot. They've kind of got some weapons that should allow them to sort of move and fire. This is the sort of unit that I should kind of be running into the fray and just, trying to make stuff happen with, really. And unfortunately, because they are going to be the target of some enemy attacks, I can't quite do as much as I would normally like to with them. What I am going to try and do, though, let's see if I can do 2 jump. A little too close to... Oh, well, that might work. The enemy still shoots them once the turn's done. How you doing, Citizen? All right. Well, I know they're not going to collide with my melee unit, so we're going to do a pair of dashes over here. And I think I'm going to move... Yeah, so I'm not really... In this case, I'm not really going to be able to do much in terms of shots, but they're going to... Again, they're going to be in a good spot for next turn to start delivering with their machine gun. Now, the last question that I have here is positioning the Lance, which is piloted by Tango. The one consideration that I have in this particular case is the fact that I actually have my big shield that I can sort of throw up and laugh at the enemies with. The question is whether or not it's actually a good use of the shield to sort of take that damage when I have cover in the form of the buildings to take me through. The one argument in favor of walking is that this is one of my slower mechs. And so being able to throw up the shield and... Actually, you know what? Not even just being able to throw up the shield, but being able to... So we'll try and close the distance as quickly as we can. Hey, Olaf, thank you very much for the host. And Happy New Year to you. I believe it's from this unit. feel like I'm getting something wrong here. Okay, so let's get that shield up a little bit earlier. I just need to make sure the shield's up for the duration of the attack. Oof. I think that puts me on the roof. Well, it's not terrible if I'm on the roof because I can just walk back down. Okay, so shields up. Zip. And the building should probably protect me for the most of it, but things are going all right. If I'm playing Phantom Brigade, I'm happy. So this is a bit of a boring round for me. But essentially, what I'm doing here is I'm setting things up so that my marksman can get some pretty devastating shots, taking advantage of the nice open area. I've got my lance in. So there's two things that the lance will be able to do. If they're ignored, then they're just going to barrel in and start bullying the tanks. If they become the target, then they throw up their shield. But the kind of one of my really big hopes here is that I'm going to be able to move the lance up, take advantage of the cover from this building, and put a shotgun to the back of this unit here. So if this unit winds up starting to focus on my marksman, well, my marksman can go and hide, and then the lance is going to go and bully this unit. And then these guys are going to come into the flank. It's going to be a bit narrow for my melee attacks. This may wind up being disappointing for my melee unit, but if they can get into the middle here, they can actually wind up just bouncing these tanks around, which will be kind of fun to watch. Anyways, this will still be kind of fun to watch because the animations of this game are so good, but you're not going to see any of my attacks really happen. Looks like they're shooting each other. Yeah, so that was fairly dramatic. As you can see, lots of property damage. Lots of damage to themselves, but not a whole lot to me. So let's start by seeing whether or not the marksman's a target for anything. They are not, actually. It looks like they're going after my lance, which is good, because this just means that my marksman can sort of stay put. Now this is weird that they want me to walk around the edge when there's a perfectly good street for me to go through. It's actually slightly disappointing they're making me do that, but fair enough. So the idea here is that I move up, and from my perch, I start shooting at the enemy unit. And oh no, looks like they might still be in the optimal range. Yep. So we're just gonna stand and wait for the entire duration of that, and then once that's done, we'll hop back down to the real world. So marksman rifle's pretty devastating on its own. We are going to be attacking them up front because it looks like they're really focused on making my my lance unhappy. But that's fine. One thing that we can actually wind up doing. So we know that this unit is going to be basically. So they're going to be moving in this pattern, and they're going to be basically looking at my lance the whole time. Well, okay, not exactly the whole time, but where the lance is looking is going to determine, so where the lance is going to determine where this unit winds up looking. So the other thing I want to do, of course, is not cross the stream. So I don't want to have my lance walk into the shot. And suffer disastrous consequences. Like, I don't want to get shot in the back by my own guy is what I'm trying to say. Now I have slightly inconvenienced myself here. But one thing I'd like to do if I can, let's say I move over here. Yeah, perfect. So basically, here's what's happening with my lance. This move is all about getting myself into a good position. So I'm covered by 2 buildings for this tank that's going to be attacking them. I finish my move at an optimal range to get a shotgun on this enemy unit. Now, chances are it's not going to be to the back. Well, no, actually, they're walking away and they're not shooting at me, so this might actually be a shotgun to the back now that I think of it. I'm actually going to wait the duration of the attack just because you do get a small bonus if you... Or not a bonus. It's more effective if you're standing still. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to be walking after the enemy. But I do know that they're going to be getting another attack after me. So I'm basically just going to maintain the distance so that at the end... I'm going to be able to get another shotgun shot off. And this has largely been protection, but this is the tank, right? This is exactly what they're supposed to do. So now the last thing that we get to do is take a look at my my dynamic duo on the side here. Now it does look like there is more than a little attention on them. So with my melee unit, I can be a bit conservative. And I can hide them behind a building if I'm feeling scared. Or I could try and get them in place for something exciting. All right, so I think my right-handed weapon is my right-handed weapon's not happening this time. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at how this one works. So for the first second and a half, nobody's attacking them yet. So they come in with a secondary... Oh. Okay, so basically they start attacking this unit right as they go charging in for their main attack. Not great, but not impossible for me to deal with either. Okay, so basically what's going to happen here is my melee unit's going to start their strike. They're going to do an attack with their secondary weapon on this unit. They're going to bounce into this one, so that's going to sort of throw them off the trail, and then they're going to turn around and do an attack with their primary weapon. Primary weapon, I believe, is enough to take out the treads. So effectively, once you see this unit do these moves, it's very unlikely the remaining enemy attacks are going to connect. So what I basically want to do here is I want to make sure that this unit maybe takes a beat before... I'll see how close I can get them to the action before the... Yeah. Half a building, if that. You know what? I don't think I lose a whole lot if I just... Now this unit can afford to, this unit can sort of afford to move and attack. That's kind of what they do. And I think the real story here is going to be, they might wind up shooting into the side of the building. They'll at least get a start on some of this. I feel your pain, Brutos. But yeah, so one of the bigger problems I have here is I'm not 100% clear on where all these enemy units are going to be by the end of the round. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to focus a bit on I'm getting really close to the... yeah. Okay, so basically the reason I'm allowed to do this is I'm assuming that the tank is going to be out of commission by the time that I move in, so we're going to get a couple of shots off on this unit because it's the least likely to be out of my range. And then sort of my unit with an assault rifle is going to be sort of moving and shooting and just generally getting themselves into the spot that they need to be. Now, one of the things I like about this game, the developer was kind enough to point this out when they visited the stream. There is a way to slow down the replay, which I'm going to take advantage of. So if you hit execute and then space, you get a nice slow-mo version of things. So I think the first big event that we're going to be looking for is the... So this guy's getting in position. So shields up to stop the damage from over here. But the real drama is going to come when this guy comes in for their attack. There's the marksman attack coming in. It's a bit of damage on my guy. More than a little, actually. There was the shotgun to the back, so I'm kind of messing up the order in which all of these things are happening, but I think... So we wound up banging this guy far enough away that I think the primary attack's not going to work anymore. This guy just got... this guy just crashed, so that's exactly what we were looking for, and this guy's right arm has just been taken out with the combine of the shotgun and the marksman shots. So the final thing to watch is the assault rifle on the tank. Oh my god, we just lost the right arm on something. That might have been friendly fire now that I think of it. Well, that's a bit embarrassing. Fortunately, I don't think we lose the part. I think it just involves a bit of repair work. Can't do much with my attacks on that side, though. Okay, so if I do that, attack comes in. Yeah, sadly, I overheat, but I think I can still walk over this guy. But yeah, replay will be implemented in the game later, but I think probably where the screw-up happened here was my my secondary attack. I'm pretty sure I just lost my right arm to friendly fire there. Oh, what did they do before? Did they just say it's like, yep, that's a piece of cutlery, all right, and like left it? Okay, so I actually want to figure out what I'm doing with my marksman first. They're sort of going to be on cooldown for a bit. Actually, it's going to seem a bit indecisive, but... So what I'm doing here is I'm going back up onto the roof. They're going to zip over. And they should be able to It's not quite where it needs to be. It's close. Yeah, so if I leave it right to the very end, that at least lets me get the cooldown in. Pretty sure if I tried anything else, yeah, I get too much heat. Okay. Not ideal, but I think I make something happen with this. Now it seems like the lance is still everybody's favorite target. So what I want to see here, we did maintain the distance for a very specific reason, and that was to be able to get a shotgun shot off. Yep, and that works exactly as designed. So we're going to be able to fire the shotgun, and then we'll be able to throw the shield up right around the time that that they're ready for their reply. So we'll stand put while we're firing the shotgun, then we'll sort of move. I want to move in a way that makes sure that the enemy tank is still shooting into a wall. And that. I want to be a little more thoughtful on my movement here. Because once that unit's done firing, I get to do another shotgun shot. In fact, I'm slightly curious if I get two. Not unless I want to overheat. And looks like they still want to keep shooting at me, so. In fact, I'm going to have to slightly adjust my positioning. Excuse me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move so that there's some buildings between me and the tank. Okay, so I'm still a bit annoyed with myself in terms of what happened with the melee unit, but there's not a whole lot I can do to change it, so I'm just going to get myself in position for another quick attack on this guy if they get any funny ideas. And it does look like after they're done crashing, they actually want to cause a little bit of grief for my my riflemen. But you know what? I'm going to say that the melee unit's going to be doing its job there. So once my melee unit's clear, the rest of the round is going to be spent shooting at this unit. And I think that's everyone. I'm going to do this at normal. I'm going to do this at normal speed for the start, but I might slow it down when the marksman starts doing some of its stuff. That wasn't quite as exciting as I was thinking it would be. Okay, so kind of as expected, being able to run into the enemy unit caused a crash. Looks like, oh, it actually looks like it's going to be on both sides. Nope. Just really hates my melee unit. And unfortunately, I'm not in a position to be able to really respond to this with the melee unit. So what I think I'm going to do here, I'm going to get them to sneak around the side. Nope, they still get targeted though, so we're gonna dash instead. And this is all about protecting the unit, and this is actually fairly important because when I turn my back, that's when that unit's going to be most vulnerable. What I'm going to try and do here is sneak around. And again, this is going to be mostly, this is going to be about making sure that the other people in my unit do what they're supposed to. I think that's got a building in the way. That's probably not going to help me. Well, it's close to where it needs to be, but I'm not super keen on. So my aim here is basically going to be to fire as many shots as I can at this thing before it's able to mess with my melee unit again. Okay, so they're long gone by the time I'm ready to do anything. Well, I'm still going to keep the assault. I'm still going to keep the assault doing what it's doing, but if anything's gonna be happening here, it's going to have to come from the lance. So they shoot. That's a long shot. Okay, well, with that in mind, so we finish our marksman shot on the tank. So maybe I can just take out my sidearm right after. And I roast myself as soon as I do that. Okay, so let's say I stay put for the duration of the attack. If I tried to zip away, yeah, I burn up. One alternative that I could try would be to get the distance here. And my question then would be, how quickly am I able to... Yeah, that's really close to... Okay. I'll just accept the world as it is. It's not my favorite move, but it might afford me... Yep. It does afford me an attack on that tank. So the answer will be, while this guy is focusing on my marksman, I need to make sure that my lance is in a position to make trouble. There's a small cost to this in that while I'm attacking this unit, this tank gets a free hit on the lance. But at this point, I think I just kind of need to accept that there's... Like, one of my units is going to be damaged, and it might as well be the one that's sort of designed to absorb a bit more of that. There's probably a way that I can maneuver things, but getting that mech off the table is a fairly important one for me, so... And let's watch the action happen. I think I'll slow it down this time just because there's lots that's going on. Alright. Yeah, there we go. I believe we just finished the round. So that thing went up. That unit got destroyed. This guy's probably ejecting. Yeah, he's got nothing left to do, so other than the fact that we stupidly lost our arm, that was a fairly decent little engagement. All right, duration 25 seconds, damage taken 1,032, damage inflicted 3,545, 81 actions planned, a distance of 984 meters, traveled 3 units destroyed, no parts, 143 supplies. So we've got another Asgard heavy, looks like a torso, a Spark medium handgun, and a Nox heavy. Wait a minute, how do I know that that was a... I don't know that was a torso. No salvage from 2 of the tanks. We got a regenerator and a gyro. Aperture Science, 42nd of their name. It looks like it plays more like a puzzle game than a tactical game. Do you always know what your opponent's going to do in a turn? Yes, but I'm not entirely sure. So it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because I was playing a game called Unity of Command recently, which is that is very much a strategy game, but a big complaint that I saw from a lot of people was that they felt that it was a puzzle game rather than a strategy game. I think to a certain extent there is a lot of overlap between the two genres, but one of the defining features of Phantom Brigade is that you have perfect knowledge of what's going to happen for the next 5 seconds. I'm not entirely convinced, though, that does not make it a turn-based tactics game. I would argue to you that this is probably as much of a tactics game as Into the Breach is, because Into the Breach will give you a similar, it's kind of a similar knowledge. I suppose the one difference there for Into the Breach is that because each action is taken sequentially, the order in which certain units are doing things matters as well. But, I'm maybe not so convinced that the idea that because it's randomly determined whether or not one of the enemy hits will be hit by a shield, I'm not quite convinced that element of randomness brings that to a level of tactics that isn't present inside of Phantom Brigade. What is a little more interesting, though, the one case where you aren't necessarily going to know is once you start having an influence on what happens on the field. So, for instance, I wound up losing my right arm because there was a unit that wasn't where it was supposed to be to set up my melee attack, and so I didn't properly account for that consequence. As far as what the AI does, so like this game's probably not going to get... I believe the developers have said that there won't be multiplayer, and I'm not quite sure how you do it anyway. I guess you just turn the game into frozen signups at that point. But the one thing I will say is that the AI definitely does seem to factor in... the AI definitely has set up a couple of situations where it forces me to choose between one or the other... one of two pretty bad positions, and they have definitely positioned themselves in a way that I had a particular idea in mind for the next 5 seconds, and it was really clear that they sort of moved anticipating that. So I will definitely say for a game like this, again, much like Into the Breach, if your time horizon is only what you can presently see on the battlefield, once you start getting a little bit deeper into the game, you're actually going to notice that you're in some really tough positions and you're going to wind up taking unavoidable damage, which I'll admit I wasn't expecting for a game that had just been released in early access. But on the other hand, insofar as every strategy game I think is going to have some overlap with puzzles, you're absolutely right. In the end, you do have perfect knowledge of what's going to happen, and that's not going to change each turn. And so in the end, part of this is going to be figuring out what your best reply to actions that you know is going to happen. Of course, the really fun part about that is positioning everyone so that they start shooting each other in the back. So. Oh yeah. No, I definitely don't. I like puzzle games. So, and actually, Night Valian, who I was very unkind and did not do a proper shout out for before. Yeah, I definitely don't take puzzle as pejorative, but it was just really funny that I saw that comment, because I had a decent enough time. My only complaint with Unity of Command actually was that I really don't feel that it explained how everything worked that well, and the manual I actually read and still was kind of confused about a couple of things. But I just thought it was a neat little moment for me to kind of cover something that seemed to be timely. But yeah, no, it's the essence of your question was, do you have perfect knowledge of what's going to happen? And beyond the fact that there will be consequences for your actions that you may not see on the battlefield, i.e., if you throw up your shield and go running into a set of tanks, you better not assume that those tanks are going to be where your AI tells you where they are. But other than that, you're going to have perfect understanding of what's going on. Now, I thought we were going to have a party because we liberated the province, but one way or the other, I'm definitely going to need to repair my mechs. Mind you, it'll take just as long as the salvage, so no real cost to that. Oh, here we go. Freedom! You've successfully liberated this province and the people rejoice. The relief is palpable. One of your pilots wanders over to you as you watch the people dance in the streets. I know there's a lot more to do, she says, but shouldn't we celebrate the small victories? She and some of your other pilots would like to celebrate with the people, and I think we'll do the full celebration here. Give your pilots the night off and some booze to blow off steam, so that'll cost us 6 hours. Of course, we're already salvaging. Minus 200 supply and minus 100 fatigue. And I'm going to basically be taking that fatigue with me into the next province, which is, I think it was Hosford. Yeah, Hosford, then Dremel. Send me another stream questions. Oh, on Twitter probably, right? Sorry, Brutus. I don't have my mobile with me right now, so... Oh, level 7 convoy. Okay. I expect there's going to be... I don't know... 2 billion tons of tanks. It looks like they're headed straight for us, so let's... Go get him. Oh, cool. Thank you. Alright, hostile squad is passing nearby. Our base is now within their sensor range, so moving would reveal our position, but we have the upper hand for now. If we're not prepared to face the enemy, we may be able to execute an emergency retreat, but now could be a good time to strike. Now, because this is out in the wilderness, I suspect we're going to not have as much in the way of cover. So a lot of the strategies that I employed in that last map won't apply here. And if my last few experiences with convoys are any indication, there's going to be a lot of tanks, which I'm going to need to figure out an answer for. But you don't get better if you don't go up against opponents that are going to challenge you. So I'm going to take a minute here and just take a quick look at what kind of new goodies we're working with. No reason for me to take on the Asgard Heavy. We've got... well, if that spark is an improvement... okay, so slightly longer interval. Yeah, so with the addition of the interval, we wind up with a slightly worse DPS. I'm going to equip it nonetheless. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. Oh, now I gotta find the old one. I was thinking that it would give me access to a new mod, which it doesn't. Oh, hang on. No, this is a better one. Okay, my bad. Slightly higher DPS I can work with. I thought it was the other way around, but it looks like this one actually has a shorter interval, which makes it more appealing. I think it's pretty unlikely I'm going to take the arm. Oh, well, we currently have a Nox Heavy, and it's offering me a Nox Heavy. Sadly, it's not the kind that I want, though. So it'll take away my heat dissipation in favor of slightly better mass. That just doesn't work for me. Okay, well, let's see if the... I don't think the lance is... Or sorry, yeah, I don't think the lance is really going to benefit from any of this. So I do kind of like the slightly better heat dissipation. The problem with this is going to be because the power is lower and the mass is higher, my speed's going to go down. I've already made some compromises for speed to give some chonk to this guy, just to be able to push people around with my shield. And then this beautiful Vidar is giving me a lot of heat dissipation, so I don't think I'm ever going to replace the right arm on that guy. Alright, Sleipnir. Again, I don't think we're replacing the upper body on this thing. Not for an Asgard, at least. Now, the right arm is the part that we lost. It's currently rocking an Elbrus M. But speed is what makes this thing work. I'm not quite ready to switch it out for a light. We already saw the problems that happen in that. Well, hang on. So here's the funny thing, right? I'm currently looking at an Elbrus M here. I can actually improve my mass by bringing the arrow light on. And on top of that, so my integrity on my Elbrus M is 177. If I put the arrow L on, it's 142 integrity, which is small. It is lower, but because it's got a 61 barrier, that actually winds up being a total absorption of about 200. Now, once the barrier is gone, I'm going to need to wait for the regeneration on it, but I think I'm actually gonna. I think I'm gonna run with that. So right now I have an excellent regenerator. I don't think there's much else that I can really hope for here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it be. We are, of course, going to change the livery, though. We're using... I think it was Alpine Forest for this one? Yeah, it looks like the rest. I wasn't crazy about two green and... kind of green and pink, green and red lineups, but that's what I got. While I'm at it, let's add a Nox medium. Curious if there's... I don't know, let's just take a quick look here and see if I've got any improvement. I think I'm gonna rank this by whether or not I can get any mass improvements. I'm thinking no, but it doesn't hurt to window shop sometimes. Okay, so I'll admit we've got some more improvements than I thought we were going to get. So I haven't touched the Hermes yet. Oh no, yes we did. Did I open up new possibilities with the right arm though? Again, unless I can wind up with some... Whoa! I didn't know you could do that with the right mouse button, sorry. I kind of leaned on that. I mean, bonus to heat capacity, but Not really convinced that's the way to go here. Better mass, lower integrity. Well, I really do like this heat dissipation. I'll try it. I won't feel good about it, but I'll try it. I think we're using Acid Lake on... Yeah. And then the Behemoth is the marksman. I don't think there's a lot for it here. It's already using the Arrow Medium, which I seem to recall had some pretty good heat properties. I definitely don't need integrity on this guy. So the question now would be, is there something in the arms that can help it? It's really just another Nox Heavy. And yeah, that's not happening. Okay. So I'll admit I was going in there assuming that I wouldn't see any changes, but this, I don't know, I think this opens some possibilities. Time fighting goes well. I stupidly lost a right arm, but I don't know. Teething trouble. What a persistent bunch. Command won't commit any more drop squads at the site, so let's get this over with. We've got a total of 11 enemies to deal with, and again, as predicted, most of them are tanks. Actually, some of them are starting quite close. Okay, so we've got a heavy shotgun and a shield, so this is a bit like my lance. This thing attacks for days. What is going on there? Wow. Okay, so it's exactly one mech and the rest of them are tanks. Now, this is going to be really interesting. So we're kind of surrounded by tanks right now, and we're on a hill. We don't exactly have a whole lot of options of places that we can sort of run in front of. So what I'm going to do here is just get a quick read on what kind of tanks we're up against. So autocannon, cannon. Okay, so the autocannon's the most threatening in that particular position. All of these cannons are... These two cannons are threatening. The shotgun really isn't. The shotgun, so for comparison, it's an 18-33 weapon versus the cannons, which are 48-99. So this guy, we're basically just going to ignore them. And then on the other side, autocannon, cannon, autocannon, autocannon. Okay, so this contingent I can sort of afford to ignore, except for this guy over here. These guys are a bit of a priority to slap around. I am going to need to deal with the mech eventually. The question is whether or not this is the best time. And I do need to think a bit about how I can... that height at different direction always messes me up. So if I just said nuts to whatever the enemy wants to do, and we go in with my primary weapon. I'm not saying it's a good move. I'm just saying it's a fun move. Oh. I'm probably going to overheat a little bit at the end of that, but that's my melee unit sorted. So yeah, honestly, I think probably the way I want to handle this, the marksman might be a candidate for dealing with this guy. Ooh, he's actually rather well positioned for handling a lot of this. Yeah, unfortunately the cannon... Oh no, this is an AC unit. Hang on. Right, it's this guy. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm going to get them to handle cannon, bro. Really? Ah, I see. You may also notice that I'm kind of ignoring I'm kind of ignoring the enemy fire too. Alright, that really weirds me out. Right, okay. It's the range again. There's really no good way to do this. That is the good way to do this. All right. So the contract's going to be this. If I'm going to ignore a shot... Actually, you know what? He's going to be firing through a couple of hills. So other than the fact that this unit starts threatening him, I'm feeling pretty okay with that situation. Okay, so we start off right with a shotgun attack. After which I throw up my shield. Oh, okay, who's shooting them? That's the first question. This unit's shooting them. Okay, so shields up. Okay, so this unit I'm going to have to move, but that's fine. So toss my shield up. And my goal here is actually to just run over as many... In fact, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, so I actually only wind up running over one of them. That's okay. I can live with that, though. Okay, so that guy shoots into the back of a mountain. So really, I just need to worry about this guy. And they have a cannon. So actually, if I can keep the range short, I'm safe. Is there a better move I can do, though? Not there. looks like a decent enough escape. Okay, so if I open up... Okay, that's a little too early. I think I'll just wait for that move to finish. Okay, so I'm protected by that mountain, so I think what I'll do afterwards... I'm gonna move this guy around the side. I don't normally like using sidearms like this, but it's what I got. What do you think the lad bazookas? February. Can I do a bazooka only run? Ask me in February. All right. There's really no highlight to watch. I think let's just watch the mayhem unfold. All right. So this guy's inactive. Okay, so it looks like for most people, the protection's largely held. So Tango wound up with the worst of the damage. But that's probably the way it should be too. Oh, that's interesting. Did we wind up knocking the tank back into that guy? I was not anticipating that if that's what happened. Okay, let's start with a marksman and see if we can... So I'm most worried about the cannon over here. My guess is that I'm not going to be able to get a second one of those off, without burning up. Let's say I move back. So I'm trying to find out how early I can get that shot off. Okay, so we walk through. I get the shot, then he replies. The problem is autocannon bros kind of show up immediately afterwards, and I don't have a good reply to that. So, we do what any self-respecting mech pilot does, and we just walk all over them. Firing our pistol as we go. Yeah, so I think the marks... Oh, hang on. No, sorry. That's the enemy unit. I'm like, wow, this guy just took a lot of damage out of nowhere. Okay, it's not ideal for the marksman, but what it is going to do is it's at least gonna bully these tanks a little bit. Okay, we're running hot on my assault. And I got two options here. So option number one is I sort of commit to this engagement over on the side, or we say this marksman is not even remotely equipped to be able to handle. So essentially what's happening right now with the marksman is that they are engaging 3 tanks with autocannons at close range, which is ideal for those units. So not only is the marksman not able to take advantage of its very powerful long-range weapon, it's going to be taking damage from the optimal range from the enemy. So in addition to the fact that I think this guy kind of needs to cool off a bit, I don't think it would hurt to bring some support in for my... I don't think it would hurt to bring some support in for my my ally. And in fact, I'm gonna kind of interpose myself on the odd chance that there winds up being some enemies from over here. I'll at least have this mountain to my back. But really, this is going to be about firing as many guns as I can against enemies. Now, what's probably going to happen here, this unit's probably going to go spinning off into the side, as is this one. So the other reason I'm kind of putting myself up against the mountain on this end is these guys are going to be likely in the line of sight. And I'm also probably not going to wind up hitting Polaris. It's possible, but I don't feel too bad about it. I could, of course, move them around the other side on the mountain here, but again, being able to do this kind of this pseudo melee attack by just walking over the tanks is a virtue in this case. I still need to figure out what I want to do with my melee unit, but let's see what's happening with the lance. So first of all, who wants to shoot it? Surprisingly few people. So if I were to do one of these, just a hypothetical, I'd still be able to toss the shield up. Okay, so let's say we run we run my shotgun attack out. How likely is it that this... Oh, this is a fresh tank, so they're still going to be standing. This unit's already attacking them, so it's actually helpful for me to... Yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing this turn. So once we put the shield up, we're going to chase this guy down. Oh. Changed my mind. So I'm going to step on this guy first. Then we're going to chase this guy down. It's too close for the attack, though, so again, I gotta wait. Yeah, that's still within parameters. It's not an ideal range. Well, none of it's ideal, really, but it gets me where I need to be. Okay, so last question is, how am I going to handle my melee unit? So one possible answer is I bring him around the side. Oh yeah, it's that different height warning that... So usually when I get that warning, what happens is I wind up massively disappointed. Okay. This is going to be... It's a cannon too, so that's going to be a cannon I take to the back of the head. And I run too hot. Okay, so if I try running... you know what? That just might do the trick. I think the closer I get to this guy, the closer I get to their shotgun, so the better option for me is just to walk as far away as I can from the trouble. I wanted to try and do something more with the tanks, but I think we'll leave that be. What I'm most interested in, there's going to be some fun stuff that happens on the other side for sure, but I'm actually kind of interested in how things turn out on this side of things. So we will slow it down just to see what's going on. Hey, Fruit Melody, good to see you. I've actually been playing a lot of this game lately. This game is amazing. The animation on it is just something else. For those of you who don't know Fruit Melody, so you put a stream title that was full-time. So are you now a full-time streamer? Is that correct? For those of you who don't know her, Fruit Melody is a wonderful art streamer. However, she has done quite a bit of Among Us as well as Dead by Daylight. An absolute sweetheart on stream, and it's been wonderful to see her channel grow just because it's a really positive environment. She seems to have all the time in the world for streaming and absolutely no capabilities of sleeping. But that's to all of our benefits. So, anyways, Fruit Melody, the visual style of this game is great. It's very well animated, and basically you have perfect knowledge of what's going to happen 5 seconds into the future, and you build a strategy around that. So what you get to do there, I'll just do a quick recap. So this marksman unit's in a little bit of trouble. So they're going to kind of shoot at their main target, which is this guy. And then to deal with the fact that there's a bunch of tanks which are good at short range against him, he's going to go and walk over the people who are threatening him. His friend with the assault rifle is going to be walking over to help out and shoot any of the remaining helpers. The Lance is also going to employ a similar strategy. They're going to fire their shotgun against one of the other tanks because everybody's trying to shoot at them. They're just going to throw their shield up and start walking over everyone. And then finally my melee unit with the cool sword, which you can sort of see in action. Unfortunately, they're generating a little too much heat. So again, we're going to walk over a tank because we can, and we're going to try and put as much distance between us and the threatening shotgun. So again, I kind of want to see how this marksman goes, because if I don't successfully take out those tanks, I'm going to be very sad. So let's go to slow motion. So missed the shot. It isn't normally this slow. This is me manually setting it to be slow, but I want to see how this all turns out. Really not doing that much damage with the marksman. There we go. Alright, there's the reply coming in. That's to the assault, of course. Oh wait, is it the assault? Maybe they were going after the marksman. Okay, so we just banged into the tank there. That should be what we're seeing coming up in this moment. Bonk. Yeah, so now they're getting hit by everything. Cause the pile up, my friend! And his allies coming in to help with the shots. I'm probably... Oh, I'm taking that damage everywhere. Oh, this is so bad. Alright, well we got the crashes that we wanted, but the marksmen took a lot more damage than I was thinking they would. So how do I want to slice this? There's a temptation to bring the melee unit into this, but it's going to take half the turn to get them there, I think. So if I move them up... Still different heights, huh? That's a possibility. That is actually very helpful. So I can safely ignore the second attack because I'm already going to hit them with the melee. And then if I do my primary melee attack over here, that kind of puts me on my path, my escape path. Now I still need to figure out something with this guy. So for the marksman, I think I'm actually just going to walk over. I'm still going to walk over the bad guy, but... Oh no, that's a cannon that's going to be firing directly at me. Ooh, I put myself in some really bad spots for this round. Oh yeah, lots of friendly fire. I'm pretty sure I just shot a ton of... I'm pretty sure I just shot my my marksman full of holes. You know what? In this case, I'm actually I'm gonna dash them behind a rock. Okay, so dash. Yeah, it's a little threatening, but not catastrophic. Is this unit still active? Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. So once they're in position, they're going to stand still because their right treads are taken out. So the main focus of... Oh. But they're open to attack from this unit. Okay, well that's fine because that's what this unit's going to deal with. So here I'm kind of trying to use every part of the buffalo. So basically number one, I'm worried about my marksmen, so I want to just get them out of the fight and get them into safety. So one thing I'm going to do is smack this thing way off course. In fact, actually, one of the problems I might have is that by jetting forward... I might actually move this thing much further along, which will potentially breach the cover. I don't know if I really want to worry about that contingency as much, though. So his ally is going to be focusing a lot on taking out the long-range cannon, sort of the more damaging of the two. But I do get the advantage of being able to step on the enemy unit. Now, this is probably going to mean some damage to Foxtrot. But of course, Foxtrot's at sort of full health, so in this case here, it's really just about heat management and trying to keep the appropriate distances. Trying not to step on this one, seeing as we've already got an attack coming in. Cool. I'm probably going to get a little toasty at the end, but nothing I can't handle. So this thing, if it's not taken out, it should at least be sufficiently weak at the end of the turn. Okay, so that's the marksman and the assault taken care of. We have a game plan for my melee unit, so it's really just a question of how I'm handling the lance for the rest of the time. So this guy's still up and running. Actually, we didn't do that much damage to them, so maybe we do... Nope, too hot. And everybody hates this guy, so... Here's how I'm going to handle that. This is the heaviest unit that I have. So what I'm going to do is basically hard... Actually, it's going to take a hard left. The whole point of this one is going to be to try and step on this thing for as long as possible. And then we focus our attacks on this unit. So if it doesn't work, if we don't successfully make this thing crash, then we're going to take a cannon to the back, which is... let's say not so ideal. But if it does work, then effectively I neutralize a threat on this end, and we get to focus on an enemy. One thing that's worth noting is that we had 11 enemies at the start of this thing. We've taken a lot of damage on one of my main units, and we've only really successfully taken out one enemy. So this is a pretty... Sorry, two enemies. So this is something of a... This is something of a worry. My big focus is on the marksman, because if it's if it's like the upper body, that's the sort of thing that can kill a pilot. So we'll pause it. So yeah, there's still... So we're jetpacking to get out of here as quickly as possible. This guy's bringing his sidearm up to deal with cannon bro. Okay, that thing just got taken down. So he took a little bit of damage on the melee guy, but again, it's a shotgun, it's a short range weapon, so I'm not too worried about it. So while we're waiting over there, this unit's crashing, so that's exactly what we wanted to have happen. This guy should go to a place of safety and start firing at this unit. Ingrid's taken some damage. Okay, melee strike came in, units down. Okay, so marksman made it out safe. This unit's sadly doing quite a bit to the... I really didn't think this through. I'm standing right in front of a unit that that was shooting. So all of that's getting absorbed by the assault rifleman. And that should be silenced by the marksman taking their shot right now. Cannon's out of the picture though. That's good. This has been a bit of a clown show. All right, this guy's going to be out for a little bit. Let's take stock. So this autocannon's coming to ruin my day. I have a pretty easy answer to that with my marksman. I just stay on the right side of the mountain, and I don't need to worry about the bad guys anymore. So we do need to take this thing out. It would not be my first choice for enemy to hit, but I do need to take this thing off the board at some point. This guy's out. Now, I've got a shotgun with my name on it with this guy. So, and my assault rifleman definitely took quite a bit of unnecessary damage. Now the drawback is this autocannon's also going to be eating him alive. Actually, with that in mind, maybe there's a better way for me to handle that. So if I go to this side of the hill, then they just continue to devour me with the autocannon for the whole day. Well, what else am I going to do, right? Yeah, it really sucks that so much of that is going to be spent. Okay, well here's what I'll do. I will use the sidearm for as long as I can, just to avoid the sort of the subsequent damage. I would have loved to sort of turn around and kind of hit him with some sort of a best reply, but I think probably I should just sort of spread the damage around a little bit and hope that there's not. I hope that I don't know, fortune smiles on this fellow. I can, however. All right, this guy's still in play, so if I just hit him with a straight nope, not even close. That's the way a game tells you. Don't even think of it. I am a little surprised that this unit's not out of the picture, though. So if Ingrid just says, I'm ignoring... Oh yeah, it's a cannon, so short-range damage doesn't mean as much. So if Ingrid just closes the distance as much as possible... Okay, that would otherwise be good, except for the fact that they get hit by friendly fire on that. So we'll do the attack to the side. And then bring them into play for the rest of this. Okay. So what's the story with the lance? So this thing's totally crushed. This unit's fresh, but it's got a cannon. Oh, they both have cannons, so how do I keep two units at close range? I don't, is the answer. So what we do instead... I guess they kind of have to take turns being taken on the shield? Okay, so I set up the shield to deal with this guy. Shotgun at close range. Yeah, I mean, it's not dramatic, but it keeps him safe. Ooh, his legs are looking really rough there. He just lost his right arm, so the assault rifle's out of the picture. This maneuver is working though. Okay. That was not nearly enough damage to do to do what I wanted. So the challenge with my current situation is that all of my units are spread out, but most of them are in a situation where they're sort of not at a really effective state. I've got at least 2 of my units in a spot where I really don't want them to take any damage. So there is one small advantage. So this thing is immobilized, and it's basically immobilized in front of a hill, so it's not going to be very effective. This guy is going to be... So it's not fully damaged. However, it's also sort of stuck behind sort of this hill. What I'm trying to say right now is that the Lance is a bit of a free agent, and I want to bring them into the fight in a much bigger way. So they're going to bound across the map. I'm just going to basically run them in and say, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? Of course, no reason I can't put the shield up to protect myself just in case. Really? I can't put it right in the front there? That's my right arm. Good God. Okay. Well, it's going to be the left arm if anything gets hit, so let's make sure that I'm... Make sure that I'm protected on that front. Yeah, it's the left side that's going to get all the hits. Yeah, I've really bungled this one. Okay. My marksman's looking a little bit better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just get them to dance with the... I can technically afford to just take the damage, but I want to be... at this point, I want to be a little more intelligent with some of my moves. Okay. So we may not have taken this thing out completely, but we've got the dance going. Now for my much diminished... Well, you know what? For being much diminished, they're actually in... Oh no, they would have been. They would have been in a great spot, actually. Then this tank showed up. Okay, so protect yourself behind the hill. So I can move around the edge. Ugh, the range on this thing makes me cry. Okay. I think it's going to tell me, yeah, different heights. Not so good. Okay, well, theoretically, if I said just screw it, I want to get out of here. So we fire off one of these things. And actually, they wind up in a pretty decent little spot. So the autocannon is a worry for sure. I wonder if there's a... Well, there is a... there really isn't a unit, actually, now that I think of it. Okay, so what would my alternative be? Well, my alternative would basically be to take a shotgun right to the face. So let's say we'll go for second best world in which I don't take a shotgun to the face. Oh yeah, he just keeps doing that. Okay, yes. Then we sort of stay in position for a little bit. Alright. So that's kind of my way of handling this guy while making sure that I got the right, sort of the right things blocking potential damage from this unit. Yeah, I think that accounts for everyone, to be honest. It's not the most exciting round, but it's hopefully going to stop me from losing any more parts and stop me from losing units. Hey! So we did take the guy out. Notice how very few... Well, so almost none, but there's a little damage on the marksman. Everybody else dodged the damage. This is the lack of treads is really helping me out here. So basically this unit's going to go straight into a melee attack on this unit over here. That should take it out of commission. I'm going to move behind the mountain. So what I got to figure out here is how do I want to get my melee unit back in play? I think I'm going to set them up for an attack on this end. Okay, shotgun strike happens. The real question is how quickly can I get this shotgun to go off again? And then second question is how quickly can... So we're actually in a nice little position here where I'm sort of sandwiching this unit. With my machine gun, I'm blasting them in the back. Oh wow, I can just... Yeah, so I can just keep firing this thing. I mean, I've got exactly one weapon to be firing, so... This thing does 183 in a full volley. Well, he's got a lot, so I think at this point we just fire this thing as many times as we can. Good news is nobody wants to kill this guy, so yeah. I gotta figure out something better to do with the lance, and I did make a bit of a boo-boo with the marksman. So I'm basically abandoning this attack over here. Hopefully I don't hit my own unit. So the shotgun... Ooh, the shotgun's a bit of a worry on the melee unit, actually. We will cross our fingers. Okay, so if we just play the same game that we've been doing this whole time... we peek out behind the mountain. Wait a little while. Yeah, I mean, this is my life now. It's not the most exciting thing I can do with this unit, but it keeps them occupied. Actually, that works out not too bad, because on the odd chance that some of these things hit, I'm facing the right directions sort of at all the right times. The only thing I don't like is I'm not crazy about the fact that I'm pretty clearly out of that cover. Yeah, so that works slightly better for me. So again, I am sort of taking some of the damage, but as long as it's not on my right arm, I should be fine. And these guys are still shooting into the sides of hills, so we'll watch the magic happen again. Okay, so this guy was not taken out. They crashed, but it wasn't enough to finish the job. This guy is still standing, but they're going to eject, so we're in good shape there. Okay, so this is basically a cleanup job now. Okay, so this unit wants to attack my melee unit. I will not oblige them. Instead, we're going to put as much distance as I can between me and the threat. Okay, they're going to have to walk a certain distance. So honestly, a lot of this is going to be about getting in position for the next round. So, plan is melee unit takes this guy out when the time comes. They are going to be shooting into the side of a hill, though, so I'm not too worried about that. This unit's only going to be crawling around the hill on this side, which gives me a small advantage. So I'm going to move around the side. This unit is immobilized. So as long as I can keep the hill in between. Now my marksman basically gets free reign on the enemy unit on this side. I don't know if I'll get a second shot. Yep, we have the heat for it. Okay, so I think this thing is out of the picture, although we do want to make sure... Yeah, okay, they're targeting the melee unit, so we're fine there. And then the remaining question is, what do we do with the lance? Well, the lance is actually in a uniquely helpful position. So there is a unit that hates them. Oh, nope. Ah. Okay, there's even more possibilities that just opened up here. So basically, these two tanks don't like the lance. I again get to remind myself that this thing is going to be stuck shooting into the side of this hill, and so I kind of get to decide how it engages me. And so I'm going to basically just throw my shield up whenever these guys think like they're going to be able to get an attack off on me. And once I close the distance enough... Okay. Again, I want to be careful with my... I want to be careful with this unit because they only have 51 left on their right arm, so I really can't afford any mistakes on their health. So the only threat to this particular unit is a unit that's like not really in a position to hurt me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and have the my former rifleman kind of bound across the map and get into position for a, you know what, let's walk the remaining distance. The plan here is basically to open up with the submachine gun. And that would have been perfect except for the fact that I walk in front of the marksman's shot. The lore for that move would have been he screams, "I'm helping," while he does that. Okay, this puts a little more... It's not an ideal shot, but it puts a safety buffer in there. Okay. That thing's down. We haven't lost any arms yet. Okay, so both of these are now immobilized. This guy really hates the marksman. I really wish I could do something else with my marksman, but right now, putting them in a position where they're not gonna... Putting them in a position where they're not going to get hit by the enemy unit is probably the most helpful thing they can be doing right now. The only thing I don't like about this is that I'm basically accepting the cannon fire. And I don't think this is going to be enough to... Well, I mean, there is a height difference, so maybe. Maybe. Not worth it. So we'll wait it out. And then on the other side, what do we do? I guess we start moving towards that. I don't actually think anything's going to happen out of this, but... Okay, what's this guy up to? So he is eventually going to strike the melee unit. Oof. Yeah, this unit kind of needs to do that melee attack if it would like to survive, so... So there's going to be a rather important development on this side for this melee unit. It's going to be a very tight window for me to make this happen. Now, see, I like to pretend that I can get away with that, but I really can't have got 51 on my right arm. I think in this case, my job is just to sort of sit there as a turtle. It's definitely not an ideal attack, but it gives me something to do in the interim. I'm actually going to move that shield up a little bit closer so that, yeah. So I believe that's everyone accounted for. Oh, no. Theoretically, there's something I can do with the marksman. Do they really not attack a second time? No, I just couldn't see it. Yeah, so I can't just stand around like... Oh, hang on, what am I doing? No, the marksman stands on this side. Okay, no, so the marksman's doing exactly what it needs to. So we'll focus our attention on... Actually, I do want to see what happens to the... The main attention really is on this side of the... the main attention is on this side of the map, then I should angle it accordingly. This guy's still up, still doing things. Okay, so both of these are removed as threats. This guy hates the melee unit, but there's no threat to them there, so shotgun... We've got a shotgun reply. And yeah, it looks like they're focusing entirely on the melee unit, so what I want to do instead is just make sure that my lance is not in oops. Not in the neighborhood for when the next attack comes in. And then priority number 2 is to fire that shotgun as many times as possible. So precautionary measure, I'll take the melee unit and put them behind 2 hills. And then our nemesis over here has been finally dealt with. I think actually it's just this tank now, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll get them, I'll get the marksman sort of moving into position, but it's pretty unlikely we're going to see anything happen out of that. And similar story, we'll get the... There's actually a small argument for me to put this unit behind more cover, but I don't think this tank is going to be surviving beyond this round, so... Yeah. Okay, that was a struggle, and I really only have myself to blame for a lot of the damage that I took. So 45-second engagement, we took 2,780. We inflicted 11,511. That might be the highest amount of damage that I've done in combat. 166 actions planned. Almost 2 kilometers traveled, 10 units destroyed, no parts, 332 supplies. And it says, new achievement, this is the first time you've defeated enemies. I'm assuming it's this. I'm not quite sure what this symbol means. We've definitely defeated enemies before. So let's take a look at the goodies that we get. So Nox Heavy, well, level 6, and a Firewall Shield, so that might be an upgrade for the Lance. Basic reactor, we won't really be using that. A bunch of destroyed tanks, no surprises there. Basic plating probably won't get used. Excellent hydraulics, we almost always have use for those. Active heat sink. Actually, I found out with the heat sinks, I do kind of like the passive ones a bit more, because the power difference really does give you the mobility. One thing that I have noticed as I've played this game a little bit more, in urban environments, mobility is king, because usually you're going to be able to put a couple of buildings between you and whatever, like whatever thing is shooting at you. And so mobility is going to be the thing that makes sure that you're able to get the shots that you want, while being wherever you want to be for the reply. In sort of wider open areas there, one thing I might actually want to consider is 2 sets of mechs. So I have my urban combat mechs, which are sort of this primary loadout that I have here, and I probably have enough spare parts now that I could probably equip myself with a bunch of bruisers who, you know, don't really care so much about mobility. They just kind of stand there and blow away the you know, like just blow away the units as they come in. And yeah, Aperture Science 42, this is by far the most common feature that's requested. In the end, the reason why it's not here, so this is still in early access. So basically, I think what it came down to was, in preparing the game, the question was, is replay an essential function? Now, I actually have a slightly different view of this. Like, one of the big appeals of this game, of course, is how stylish it looks and how, you know, how awesome everything is. This is a game I really like sharing with people because of the stuff that you pull off. And obviously the ability to show off your really cool plays and then to be able to see it all in sequence is probably one of the things that you want to do out of a game like this. But on the other hand, I think there's a very reasonable argument. This is probably what the developer would say, which is, yes, but if you don't have a good game underlying it, like if you're not actually able to take these awesome actions in the first place, it doesn't really matter if you do a replay of it now, does it? So yeah, it's definitely something that that comes up a lot, and it is something that will be brought into the game. But it is worth mentioning that if you take a look at the roadmap, it's not even on it. It's like, that is definitely a very far in the future feature, I think. But it is definitely something that the development team is aware of. It's probably the most commonly requested feature. And I think just the reality of making a game and making a game that will build those things that are replay worthy is probably the reason why we're going to have to wait on that. Yeah, exactly. So I'm sympathetic to it. The other thing I'll say too, like the reason why I'm really looking forward to the February update was, you know, I was talking about how taking advantage of buildings is a great way for the urban combat. They did mention artillery in it, so I think the diversity of weapons is going to create a lot more strategies. It's going to create a lot of variation in terms of different approaches that I bring into the game. So, you know, I'm in this really tough spot where, like, it's like taking my medicine. I so desperately want the ability to just sort of, like, I love photo modes in games, and I love being able to, like, line all the stuff up perfectly and you know, show it in the best light. So having a replay function, I would basically just be making YouTube videos all day, every day of fun combat engagements. But I also kind of deep down know that the game is going to be better if they build the game first and then do the replay after. So it's one of these cases where, like, like you're describing the feature I really want to see, but I don't know. I also kind of know it's good for me that it's not there. I really want it though. Actually, let's just take a quick second here. This also gives me a chance to share the Brace Yourself Discord. So that should get people to the Brace Yourself Discord if you wanted. I now have now that I've switched broadcasting software, I'm actually slightly more prepared for sharing this sort of stuff. The reason I'm doing this is just to take a look at the Phantom Brigade. I don't know if it's in the FAQ. In future, repair time will be scaled to the actual damage taken. We'd like to redo how that system works anyway. So I'm just taking a quick look at the... I have a milestone plan where we're going to see if new types of enemies, helicopters, airstrikes, etc. are actually fun to interact with. If they are, we'll add them. The main concern is making sure that cover in levels is still useful and fun to engage with. New enemies could significantly change the way we design levels, so some research is required. That would be really neat to see how... Actually, MechWarrior 5 was really interesting for the number of more conventional enemies that you went up against. Helicopters are really challenging in that game because it's hard to run into. Okay, here we go. Will there be a replay function so we can see all the combat all at once? Yes, we really want to add this feature, and we know you really want this feature too. We're not 100% sure on when it's coming, but rest assured it's in front of our mind. Okay, so that kind of answers the when question. They don't know, but they'll do it. Anyways, that's all the stuff that you'll find on the Discord, plus the Clark Tank stuff. Clark Tank stuff is fun to watch because Brace Yourself is really good at making games, so it's interesting to hear people who are good at making games. Well, I mean, it's Ryan is the sort of founder, so he's the one who talks about it, but it is interesting to see people who are really good at what they do sort of describe their thought process behind things. And so the Clark Tank discussion is another little gem on that Discord for you guys to check out. Anyways, we're going to be parked for a little while we get ourselves back in fighting shape. And then we'll cross the border into No, sorry, we should visit the black market first and then cross the border into Hosford so that we can continue to liberate the continent. I also did not realize it's been 2 hours, 20 minutes. This game definitely eats a lot of time for me. In the most pleasant way possible. Get ready to feel really hopeful, people. The music's gonna swell up. Nope, never mind. Alright, Black Market. Despite reservations, you follow the guy to the Black Market location. When the base stops, you get out to look. The man wears a well-worn hat and leather gloves. His smile is a little too genial for your liking, and he takes you by the arm. Ah, so I suppose you must be the one in charge here, he says. Good, good. So you'll be wise enough to recognize how good of a deal this is. He shows you the equipment in the back of his truck, and he's right. It does look good. Can't miss out on such a good deal. So minus 10 hope. Ooh. And it doesn't actually tell me what I get, so no, screw you. I can, in fact, refuse. So we do probably need to consider... So I'll consider the approach. We know the one place we're crossing for sure. The question is, how do I want to approach the rest of the liberation? There's a big, wide border between the two, so... I could take the farm and then sort of all these sort of intermediate areas. I'm actually probably more inclined to take the convoy, the town, fusion plant, and farm and sort of do this sort of movement. Because in the end, after Vremel, I think we head back to Maple. So yeah, we do something like this. Then we cross over. And then I could do sort of a pass. It's going to be a little indirect, but like, so if I do a straight line over here, we don't really get any more intel on the surrounding area. If we take a slightly curved route to the town over here, then we also get a peek on anything that's up in the air. Again, usually there's going to be sort of things that come up in between that'll change the pattern, or that'll change the sort of the intel in the area and change the approach. But I think the path that'll follow is something like this. And then obviously that's a future stream where I'll be worrying about this region. Hello, base. You can attempt to gain control of this structure by mounting an assault with your squad. I am going to take a quick peek at the gear that we got. Ah! Okay, so it's a pair of 4-1. Excuse me. It's a pair of 4-1s are my lowest quality. Oh, that's right. We might have a fancy new shield. Okay, let's take a look at the upper body. I feel like this was the thing that was making me miserable during the last fight. So the big problem I have with going down to the... Oh wow, this thing's still got still got the spare mass, huh? Some pretty sweet heat dissipation on it, though. Oh, but it's because of the improved heat. Okay, so I'm gonna experiment with a couple things on here. So theoretically, if I put it on this guy, yeah, that's a big drop in my speed. But if I switch out the heat sink and we put a, let's say, put a passive one. I guess I could try the capacitor as well. You know what? Yeah, it's still so slow. I go from 12 to... I don't really see how I can make that work. I want to make it work, but doesn't quite give me what I need. All right, now, right now we're sitting on, I mean, it's a rare firewall. It's higher level. Oh, wow. Okay, so the integrity is down and the mass is higher. Okay, well, that's what mods get you. We're still sitting on basic plating. I think that's the right call for this guy. Okay, so sadly the lance doesn't get improvements, but that is sort of by design. We tried our best and we couldn't quite make it work. Now, if there is a way I can get this Nox heat dissipation. Yeah, doesn't work. The arrow's the right thing for this one. Oh, it was a pretty sweet shotgun though. Okay, no, there's some toys for me to play with here. Okay, so let's go back to that lance. So I've been sitting on this heavy for a while. It's the AS1 Auto. The base damage is low. Oh, I get it, because there's 7 shots. Oh wow, the concussive damage really isn't there though. I don't know, they were like a 944 in a volley? Same interval. Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with this. As before, we take the livery. I don't think there's... I think we already did the question of the shield, so nothing to play around with there. I think Behemoth, we already made our decisions, right, because it was the cut that I wanted, so there was nothing else to worry about there. Does mean that Sleipnir's potentially got an improvement. No! God, no! Why is the line so good? Okay, now we're already sitting on a Nox medium, so the heat dissipation... it's the heat dissipation and the power. But I do get better integrity. Okay, let's try it. Let's see if we can make our mods. Okay, so capacitor is nice. 19 speed, good lord. Hang on, let's just get another baseline here. So, so I actually wind up giving up a little bit of speed. Okay, so I'm giving up a little bit of I'm giving up a little bit of speed, but it's so that I can get the better thruster power, which I think is the right call. So let's see if we can do something about the power and the heat dissipation with my systems. So right now it's sitting on a capacitor. I could give it an active heatsink, but then that would kill my speed again. I could give it a passive heatsink, which will give the... You know what? This will probably do what I need. Nope. Speed does not improve at all. An active heat... Oh no, sorry, it was a capacitor that I had. That's right. Still think that's the right call, though. So yeah, we gave up a little bit of speed, but... The only thing I don't like about this is that I didn't really need the extra armor. But I also don't think anybody else is really eligible for that body. So I guess the last one was the Hermes. So it was sitting on the Arrow. The Arrow had that nice recharging body. So I didn't really see a situation in which they wound up taking that. Right, it's right sensor. So what's the story with the right arm? It's an Elbrus medium. What's going on there? Fascinating. That really is my best option for an arm, huh? Okay, I may have a good... There's a couple Nox mediums that... Well, it's an Arrow medium, so I don't think the others are gonna really help. Better power, but I think the mass isn't right. Yeah, and the thrusters aren't either. Hermes we've already dealt with. The Lance, I'm pretty sure, has a heavy torso. If it doesn't... Right, we already messed around with this. Okay, I really messed around with the relative levels, but I'm feeling okay with this squad. And again, it's going to be urban combat, so it's not... It's not going to be as hard as some of the others. Command Rebel units just entered visual range. I'm outnumbered, requesting rapid response team ASAP. So, reinforcements arrive in 3 turns. I didn't get a read on how many there were currently. Okay, so we've got 3 mechs that we're up against and no tanks. This is going to be fun. Flak cannon. It's been a while since I've gone up against one of those. Okay, so pretty decent range. Respectable damage. Heavy shotgun. Excuse me. Yeah, that is definitely something I don't want to be at close range for. So I think if I can get the marksman to focus on that guy, That'll make everyone happy. I think my my melee unit should actually feel a little scared. Oh, they got a sniper? Wow. Okay. So, when it comes to my melee unit, I feel I have one of two options. I either move them up and around to deal with the flak cannon, or I move them up to deal with the sniper. Now, as it happens, the sniper's putting themselves in a nice little spot to for me to eat them. The one thing I'm worried about, so let's say, you know, I try and close the distance as quickly as possible with my melee unit. There is a problem that I have, which is this is about as far as I can get this turn. And any melee attack that I make on the sniper unit is going to be one that's blocked by these buildings, as well as a height difference. And then we add to that the fact that the shotgunner sort of wants to create some problems for them. Oh, yeah, okay. But as it turns out, this still is probably the best thing for my melee unit to do. Okay. So what I didn't realize was that the flak unit is actually moving it. They're definitely going really aggressive with a lot of this. But I have my answer. So first things first. Okay, we zip through. This guy shoots his shotgun into the side of a building. No, they don't. They actually shoot it into the side of my unit, so wait it out a little bit. So I think my melee unit's probably not going to be very effective for the first couple of rounds, but that's life. Now, for the behemoth, part of the job here is going to be to try and figure out how I can get people in range. So the big problem that I have at the moment is the sniper quite sensibly is targeting this unit, which is actually pretty threatening to their own units. And the one thing that makes this particularly challenging is that they're going to be targeting them from the trees over here. So if I put this marksman in a position to take out the shotgunner, so what I kind of want to do is be in a spot where I can do some serious work on this shotgunner before they become a real problem. But any approach that I take, well, okay, let's maybe get a closer read on what's going on here. So if I put myself up on the higher... No, they still shoot the side of a building. Okay. I do feel a little nervous about this, but... Ooh. Grim. Looks like I can kind of get 2 suboptimal attacks in. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, the second one sucks, though. Okay, so maybe we stay put. We move back. Cool. Works a lot better than I thought it was going to. So I think it's fair to say at this point the the lance is really going to be doing the heavy lifting so far as eliminating the Flak Bro wants to make me sad. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to try and do here is I want to close the distance as much as possible so that I can do some damage to the... Oh. So my original intention was try and do damage to the guy, the other shotgun unit, the enemy shotgun unit. That's clearly not going to happen though, so... So I actually think I'm heavy enough to... Oh no, we're about the same weight. Okay. I'm actually going to move back a little bit. Basically, I was just trying to make sure that the distance was right. The shotgunner, right? Shotgunner's still focusing on the. Ah, yes. Okay. So I got a couple solutions to the current situation. I really hope I don't shoot my guy mid. That'd be an amazing shot if they did, but... That's too much heat. Yeah, so the idea on this one is to just try and do as much as I can to this shotgunner. The one thing that worries me, of course, is that it's possible they're just gonna blow me away as soon as. Actually, you know what? That is a very distinct possibility that they just tank that and decide to. I'm their new target. So, no, really. I don't think that's going to provide much care. Okay, if we just want to get out of here. No, I'm going to cook myself. What am I thinking? All right, well, you know what? We're just going to see how that turns out. But I have a feeling it's not going to go well for my... assault rifle unit. That shotgun is amazing. Oh, wow. We took out that guy's lower body. Like... Okay, yeah, they're super mad at them for that. But we have a window of opportunity here. I don't think it works that way. Yeah, they're moving the wrong direction. Okay, well, it was a start. Oh wow, this guy's already... Whoa! We ripped through these guys. Okay, so this guy's ejecting right away. This guy's limping. So this is actually this is a nice little this is a nice little discovery. They're basically just going to be moving into my... Basically going to be moving into my optimal range at the end of that, and then in the worst case scenario I should be able to throw my shield up if they're still kicking around causing problems. However, now that I know this guy's already being dealt with, I'm much more interested in... I better be really sure that that building... Wow! Yeah, I am not using that building as covering. That was one set of shotgun rounds. That's insane. Okay, yeah, my original decision was the right one. It would have been wonderful to be able to, you know, to bring the other guy into the fight, but that shotgun means business. So I think he's gonna take a breather. Who does the sniper want to take out this turn? Oh, they're going after the... They know it's coming after them. Okay. So if I tried for the dash... Ah! I do have the heat for it. Oh, threading the needle, but... And yes, that generates a bit of heat. I just don't see... Well... If I go a little closer... I think that helps me on the heat side. Oh, I screwed it up. I had the perfect positioning before. And now it's gonna... Yeah, I ruined it. Okay, so if I hold back... Oh, there we go. It's not going to seal the deal or anything, but it at least gets the melee unit sort of in play. And then I've sort of set myself up for the follow-up right down the middle. If nothing else, if they try anything with the sniper rifle... Well, they wouldn't. They would do it with their sidearm. Right. I haven't even figured out what I'm doing with the marksman yet. Yeah, it's a little optimistic, I suppose. So if I set him up over there... Still not quite in range. Okay, suppose we move them here and then here. Well, I suspect that just doesn't leave me a whole lot of heat for the... Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try something weird. Oh, you know what? Maybe if I just stood up over here. Yeah, okay. It's a little more realistic. The real focus here is... Ah, damn it. Okay, there we go. So I'm kind of banking a little bit on the fact that I'm attacking them from a height. So the idea here is that I'm going to be hitting them in the upper torso. It may not work out that way, but we'll see. I definitely want to make sure that the angles... So I want to be able to see everything, but I definitely want to make sure that the angles are going to show the devastation of that building when the time comes. Squad decelerating. ETA 3 seconds. Another squad dropping shortly. If these contacts remain on radar, let's make this quick. Okay, so this guy got smoked. Looks like my melee unit. That was an unexpected success. We just threw him straight into the side of the building, and then the marksman just went to town. There's no way I can get a... I am definitely gonna go... Oh, hang on. No, this thing's falling apart. God, that's gonna look so cool. Okay, but anyways, we're running really hot here. So what I'm gonna do instead... This guy's gonna be sort of stumbling around for a bit. Okay, so basically the melee unit's goal right now is to get as much distance between them and the retaliation as possible. And if I'm lucky... Okay, we can't do melee attacks against the incoming enemies. That'd be fun, but we're not allowed to. So my second best will be to hide behind the building until the time comes. So, but I bet my marksman can contribute something. This is really just me doing whatever I can to the... They're really using their sniper... Oh, well, no, that makes sense, actually, because they'd... I think they're anticipating me putting some distance. Well, that's fine, because that just gives me a chance to cover the ground with my other units. So my preference would be... Well, you know what? Maybe I can let my preference be that. Yeah, it's just the melee attack that I can't... So again, the assumption here is that this is going to be on the upper body. And then we will... Oh, nope. I'm going to be running hot, so... Here I'm sort of relying on the fact that I'm going to be able to throw my shield up. So many collisions. Well, it works, and it just means I'll have the shield to bring up at the end. Okay, not ideal positioning for the... it's not ideal positioning for the... sort of the start of the reinforcements, but it's not terrible either. Okay, sniper rifle's out of commission now. Oh god, I hit my own guy. That shotgun is absolutely absurd. Okay, so this guy's rocking a sniper rifle, and they want to hurt my... my melee unit, so we won't let them. I'd love to just say I don't care about heat and follow through on it, but I can't bring myself to do it, so... I'm going to put myself behind the building. Okay, so we're firing away. Yeah, so they are targeting this guy. When is that? 1.5 minutes. It did a sort of okay job. Okay, well, this is actually pretty easy for me. At this point, I get my pick on who I want to bully with the shotgun. So that's going to be 14 shells going straight into that guy. Next thing I get to do I forgot about this fella. But they're still going to be shooting into the side of the building. That doesn't quite work. I feel like I just need a slightly better angle. Okay, so it's a little optimistic, but who did I forget to move? Oh yeah, my marksman, the person who's gonna simplify this. All right, so I need to cool down for a little bit. Oh, did I really go into my... Damn. That was probably a little too much I was expecting out of the jets. Yeah, man, those okay, so that's a universally terrible idea that I'm trying to do. This slightly improves things. The question is, do I still have a shot? Ah! I suck. It's as good as it's gonna get at this point. That was not worth it at all. Oh, the pilot was knocked out, and then we kept shooting for it. Oh, Jesus! I didn't even pay attention to the fact there were 2 new contact. This is actually gonna be tough. Okay. So those 2 pilots are out, and they're gonna be going after my lance. So there's 2 things I can do with the lance to neutralize the neutralize the threat. One, I can toss my shield up and make sure that it's... Actually, I can toss that shield up right away. And then the second thing I can do is once the attack's done... Okay. They're always going to be slightly out of range, but I'm not going to let that get in the way of a proper punishment. Okay, that's the lance accounted for. 2 tanks down. Alright, so they are going to be... That's their heavy handgun they're going to be using against me. Okay, so the new units are going to be coming on the from the hill. It's possible. Yeah, I mean, this attack's going to be coming no matter what. I mean, maybe I start over here. What I'm trying to do is just trying to find a way to be even moderately useful when the bad guys show up. Slightly better angle might do the trick. Maybe if I move back a little bit. It really feels like that should be working. Either way, I mean, it was a nice to have. It's certainly not critical. In fact, what I can do is I can just wait in position for most of the time, and then just hit him with a primary attack at the very end of the turn. Well, okay. Let's try and make it so it at least occurs, like, in the... Oh, really? Okay, no, that's yeah. So basically, I just wanted to make sure that the thing is done by the end of the turn, just in case I need to, I don't know, make other decisions. I really don't have an answer for this guy's sidearm. Like, it seems to me that if the sidearm is ineffective while I'm standing over here, it should be ineffective while I'm standing here. Moving closer to the hill is better because that's going to mean that at some point I'm able to do something with the additional enemies. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna handle this. I want to make sure that I've got the building between me and the bad guys. So wait it out up to here. This positioning doesn't quite work for me. So again, I'm just trying to interpose as many buildings as I can between me and that sidearm while still being able to make the bad guys miserable. Basically, as soon as that thing comes into range, I want to be opening up on it. Let's keep realistic in our expectations. Okay, so we'll be running hot, but the only thing I'm not crazy about here is I haven't quite got myself where I need to be with the building. May not be an ideal spot. Yeah, it definitely protects me more, so... Okay, so the melee unit's taken care of. The assault unit is taken care of. Did the Lance... Yeah, Lance has got its orders, so... It's the marksman that I haven't figured out yet, right? They're running hot, so if I do this, I'm just going to cook. So I'm trying to figure out here is if I take out the new arrivals... Well, you know what? It's not terrible. I wish that I had a slightly better percentage on it. And this thing is packing what? Oh, we're not going to know, are we? So it could be whatever the best reply is something that I will regret moving prematurely for, but I really hate sort of wasting perfectly good units in a round, so... So this thing's going to be ejecting. I don't think they have any arms left. I tripped over the... I either tripped over my guy or I tripped over the... Pretty sure I tripped over my own unit. They're going to be attacking my melee unit, so can I get away with... Probably not, but let's... Not without cooking, so... Okay, this thing's inactive, so it's... Ooh, heavy machine gun time. Okay, this thing means business. I think I'm just going to park myself behind here and wait it out. Okay. Yeah, so they don't get to... I don't think they get a second run with those. This has a long attack time on it, but that works for me. Right, I'm putting distance between myself and the... Ah, yes, okay. No, I know exactly what I want to do here. So I'm putting distance between myself and the sidearm. The sidearm does not have that much range. So after this foolishness... I have no idea what's going to happen, by the way, but let's just get some distance. Let's just admit that this thing is not going to be a sniper for the rest of this round. Its legs are gone next round anyway. So I guess it's the Lance. Yeah, the Lance needs to figure out what it's up to. Can I... Not without cooking. Okay, so walk up. Again, the reason for all the dashes is just to try and create situations in which I'm able to cross the distance rapidly. So it may actually be that this sniper is the last thing standing by the end of this adventure. Okay, good. That guy gets to eject. We survive behind the building. Hit him in the crossfire. So he's already lost his... So this guy's already lost his heavy machine gun. That's good news for me there. I am in midair? It's a great place to be. I'm gonna make a guess that this guy's probably not gonna surrender this round, so... Okay, no, I gotta see what happens if I try to walk. Oh. So if I just keep firing, that'll basically cover me up to the point where they go around the corner. I'm probably gonna need to cool down after that anyway. Oh, actually, you know what? If I just stay put, they're gonna come around the side just in time for me to finish the cooldown. Oh, but they are... Okay. No. Nope, my bad. They're actually focusing on my melee unit. I was really kind of hoping that they'd be able to just zip out from their hiding place and take their revenge, but I'll just keep them in a safe place. And this is around the time my allies should be... There is no possible way they're going to stay put for that hole. Well, maybe they will. I could change it, but there's no need, really. I think he's down. This guy's just not giving up. So they're going to open fire on me right away. Unfortunately, I don't have anything... I don't really have any reply to the situation we find ourselves in, so I think at this point it's just sidearm against sidearm until one of the other side drops. Let's see if we can do something to make this an unfair fight. Zip. There we go. I did get hit with some friendly fire there, but it's nothing major. 40 seconds, 568 damage taken, 8,306 damage inflicted, 129 actions planned, almost 1.5 kilometers traveled, 5 units destroyed, 288 supplies. And let's see what the breakdown is. So we've got a fire starter heavy handgun, and oh, we got a new sniper rifle. So the marksman may be getting an upgrade out of that. We've got a Nox medium, which I'm probably not going to use, seeing as I've got a couple of better ones. Very unlikely to use the tower shield. More or less fully intact, so it's an Elbrus medium handgun. We have had one flat cannon before, but I didn't really feel compelled to use it. And then more Elbrus and Nox parts. Those don't quite set me on fire. Lots of heavy handguns. Okay. Yeah, that sniper rifle might be something that I put on the Behemoth. The only thing is that the sniper rifles really do have a pretty ridiculous range. So the marksman, like the range on the marksman is just at the point where I sort of want it. But anyways, I'm not sure. One thing that's kind of a double-edged sword, I think probably it's for the best though. With the switch back to OBS Studio, I don't have the integration that will show me how many people are watching right now, and it's been a little quiet in chat since I talked about the Discord, but it has been a few hours, and I actually got an early start to the morning, which is good, but I'm actually feeling a bit tired, and there's some other things that I wanted to get done tonight, so I think we're going to call it for tonight on Phantom Brigade. What I can do is a quick recap of how we're going to approach the next few territories. So this is one of the clearer strategies I've had in mind for just maximizing coverage, both in terms of radar and sort of economizing on movement. Basically, it's not the end of the world if you don't, but basically if you have higher morale, so there's a couple ways that you can think about the morale. So if you have tired units, it's actually to your advantage to take a long time between areas. Because in that particular situation, you let them rest. And if you've just liberated an area, you actually want them to go into combat as soon as possible, because that will allow you to sort of take advantage of the morale bonuses. Now, for the most part, they haven't been major determinants in terms of how I approach things, but it's it's nice to keep in the back of my mind. So what I do tend to do though is I do want to make sure that my radar coverage is pretty good. So we have this circle here. I mean, I guess what I really care about is the radius. Oh, actually, it's really just the edge of the mountain here. I might even be willing to go without. Well, it doesn't. I'll figure that out later. Anyways, so we're gonna claim these areas over here. That should basically give us full coverage of the region. And then from this farm, we're gonna move on to this farm. Now, this is the real drawback, is that this is probably going to be the one that gives us our liberation, and so as a result, we'll have a morale boost, and it's a kind of a bit of a hike. But, I mean, all of them are kind of hikes. Like, I'm not entirely sure this distance is all that much shorter than these two, right? But yeah, basically the plan is going to be pop this, pop this, pop this, then back like so. And the original plan was to sort of curve around and take this town, and that would have given me just the last little bit of radar coverage I needed of the upper area here. I'll probably still wind up doing it because, let's face it, the morale boost that I'm going to get from liberating the region isn't really going to make all that. It's not going to last long enough to be able to cross the territory. But yeah, once Hosfred's down, we'll take Vremel, which should be level 5. Maple is the next one at 6. And then I think we have to go all the way to Balakin. So, after this little pocket's taken care of, that's when we have something of a trip. And after Brostland, I always found it tricky for number 9. Actually, you know what? I don't think there is a 9 or higher. I think it just goes straight to 10. So I suppose at that point with Brostland, we go Balik, Brostland, Izidgot. Malmland isn't exactly the first one I would pick, but I do rather suspect at this point we will have taken out. We're probably going to be a bit over leveled by the time we make it to Malmland. So I believe with the capital district, you need to have all the adjacent districts. What was it? Infiltrating the city for such a mission would not be possible unless every surrounding province is liberated. So. Oh, Dr. Frankenvinder, thank you very much for the sub. I hope you got to watch a little bit more, because I'm actually just wrapping up for tonight. Thank you very much. I think you might be the first sub for the new year. So please accept that as compensation if you're just tuning in. Yeah, so I mean, Malmland and Bjorn are both going to need to be taken out. It seemed like, so if my focus is really on taking out the capital district as early as possible, Bjorn, Malmland, Steigut, well, no, even then, because then there's Krus over on the side. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to take these 3. This little trio over here, through Malmland, Bjorn, and then I might even just move straight into Krus. Or, you know, it probably won't let me go over the water, so maybe Kogan's land. Well, that's a big jump from 10 to 15. Yeah, maybe. I mean, retreading my steps isn't the end of the world. You should take the honors, no problem. I just like stopping by and replacing the coffee and bagels. I hope your holidays have been merry and smooth. Christmas could have been better, but I had. Hey, we picked the perfect time to pause the game at 1:37. But I am quite grateful for having sort of the opportunity to stream and I don't know, just run into some cool people and feel better. I didn't save the game at all today. I'm losing my touch. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am starting to fade a little bit. It is worth remembering again. I try not to flog the. I try to remind people that I have the Epic link, but I don't want to flog it too much. If you are interested in picking up Phantom Brigade, it is currently available on the Epic Store. I would care a bit more that you support Brace Yourself Games for making cool games like this and Industries of Titan. If you do decide to buy the game, you can use my affiliate link, which will make sure that I get a certain percentage of the purchase. It is maybe also worth remembering now that Epic is currently doing those coupons. So while Phantom Brigade is still full price, it did just recently really... I mean, it's just gotten its first update, which is the quality of life one. Epic is paying for discounts. I think those will be going until the 7th, so you have a couple days left to use that coupon. But if you are interested in things like Industries of Titan and Phantom Brigade, and you would like to get them at a discount, you can use those Epic coupons for them. I believe they're the right price for both. Everything I have is in Canadian, so I'm a little reluctant to say the dollar values, just because I know my dollar values are going to be higher than yours because of the foreign exchange differences. But yeah, so it's basically, for all effect, in real terms, you're getting a discount. The game is not yet gone on sale in the sense of like a discount from the developer, but obviously Epic is still trying to build their storefront, and as a result, you're able to take some of that Fortnite money, put it in your pocket, put it in Brace Yourself's pocket. And if you do decide to use the affiliate link, either you can use the link that's inside chat there, or at checkout you can put in the creator code SystemChalk. Obviously, if you have another creator who you want to give the credit to, or if you just prefer to see their, I mean, unless Epic has extended their rules, I believe now the developer sets the revenue share for the person with the creator code, which I think is better than the way that other storefronts do it. But the fact of the matter is that there is some of that money that's going towards me. So if you'd rather have the full amount, go to Brace Yourself. The amount that I'm going to be getting from any kind of affiliate link is not going to be life-changing. It does help me cover the costs, but you know, it's knowing that Brace Yourself is getting the support is probably more important to me than whether or not I get the credit. And as far as what's coming up, January, new combat scenarios, but I mean, I don't want to dismiss this one, because actually the quality of life stuff was a nice improvement. The new maps in Mechanic Work was actually pretty good. But I'm definitely looking forward to February, where it feels like we'll have some more things to blow up. Now, I spent all this time talking, and I haven't figured out who I'm going to host yet. So let me bring up my browser.
Such as
there's a fair number of you here. Oh, great. Okay. You guys are in for a little bit of a treat. So let me... Oh, that's a shame. I really wish there were more people streaming this game. So there's nobody on Phantom Brigade, but we have got Night Valian. I don't know if he just started or if there aren't enough people watching him. He's doing Cloudpunk. I had a great time with Cloudpunk. In fact, I don't know if he had that before, or if it just was coincidence that we're both streaming it. Anyways, Cloudpunk was a heck of a game, so I feel very good sending you off to him. As far as me, I've got another episode of Morrowind that's going to be starting tomorrow at 7. If you want to watch the high quality VOD, that will be on YouTube at 7 o'clock. That's 1440 horizontal lines of resolution and 60 frames per second. If you watch it on Twitch, that's going to be 1080 and 30, but you do get a chance to chat with me and anybody else who likes watching Morrowind. And I feel like we're getting close to the end of Blood Moon. So, in fact, I know the one coming up, the end of Blood Moon is very hard. So I struggle quite a bit on that one. Wednesday and Friday, it seems like there's a lot of demand for Hollow Knight. So I will do Hollow Knight on at least one of those days, possibly Wednesday and Friday, both. So I'm probably going to say Wednesday is a Hollow Knight night. But as always, Twitter will announce that. And then, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that, because I'd much rather you guys stick around for Night Valian. Actually, on the Morrowind stuff, I should say that I hit a very weird little milestone recently. But, oh no, most people went away. Oh no, you're back. Okay, good. Yeah, please treat Night Valian well. I'll see some of you tomorrow, and then for those of you waiting for Phantom Brigade, I'm definitely going to do Phantom Brigade on Monday. I'm going to try and do it before that as well, because once a week isn't quite enough for me, but I do want to make sure that some of the stuff that people have said they want to watch is still being done. So anyways, treat Night Valian well. Cloudpunk is great, and thank you for your subs, your follows, and we'll see you next time.